Hello and welcome back to ArtCast. Thank you for joining us again for episode 2. My name is Kat Normoyle and I'm from the School of Art and Design.
Hi, I'm Jessica Teague from the Department of Dance. We're excited to bring you another installment of the great work that's happening across campus here at East Carolina University and beyond. Today's episode features a range of exciting work, from an art installation on the Tar River, a student-produced dance film, a radio play, a jazz ensemble, and many other exciting creative projects. Welcome to episode 2 of ArtCast.
This first piece that we will feature in this episode is by Associate Professor and Director of Jazz Ensembles, Carol DeShiel Jr. This work, entitled Every Day I Have the Blues, features performance ensembles from the School of Music, both the Jazz Ensemble and Jazz Combos.
Good evening, and welcome to the East Carolina University School of Music Jazz Studies Program Fall 2020 semester ECU Jazz Ensemble A and Jazz Combos concert. This has been a very interesting and challenging time and academic semester. I'm very proud of our students. They have met these challenges head on and created some very exciting music. Some of the challenges, as you will see, have included performing with masks and actually performing together collectively and simultaneously while physically being on a computer sync and being in completely different states. Our professor of technology and audio video computer editing, Alex Davis, has produced and coordinated this presentation with the aid of our Jazz Studies graduate teaching assistants, Mr. Andrew Valacara and Ms. Rachel Howard, and our recording tech student, Emily Kim. This concert will feature the East Carolina University Jazz Ensemble A, performing the composition Every Day I Have the Blues from the book of Count Basie. Please stay safe, and we'll see you next time, 2021 spring semester.
next piece we will feature is a large-scale textile installation on the Tar River, created by Assistant Professor Gabe Duggan. Gabe will tell us more about the project titled Either Way and discuss some of the challenges they faced during the project.
Hi, my name is Gabe Duggan, and I'm here to talk about Either Way, which is a project I made constructed improvisationally aboard a kayak over 2 weeks across an inlet of water on Tuscarora land near Greenville, North Carolina. My intention with this piece was to expand the size of my work and see it situated in a new place. The focus was more on experimentation than on exhibition. With permission from Greenville Parks and Recreation, I initiated this work during summer heat and COVID isolations of 2020. While this was an isolated scenario in regards to contact with our own species, it did not feel isolated in other ways, in that it was a natural habitat for a large variety of insects, including fire ants, ticks, mosquitoes, and a range of large spiders, as well as water snakes, amphibians, blue herons, mullet, and other fish. The day before I completed the project, when we went out to document it with the footage, the drone camera, the piece ended up being damaged, and it seemed to be intentionally damaged at 2 significant anchor points. And the way that I know that it was probably intentional is that this is a material called DSM Dyneema, which is a very special bulletproof material donated to me by an international company that has a local plant here in Greenville, North Carolina. So this is an important textile that is also used in biomedical implantables. And so it seemed pretty clear that this was an intentional act that the piece got cut. It didn't necessarily fall apart on its own. So while this action might have happened maliciously, I think that it was probably more out of curiosity than anything. So even though this was an experimental project and it was tucked out of the way from the public, and we weren't planning on launching it or having a big opening, I'm learning that it's actually important to communicate with the public so that they understand what's going on, and even possibly think about educating the public so that they understand that messing around with a piece like this doesn't just damage the piece, but it could endanger themselves, it could endanger the artist, or even other species that live there. From this learning experience, I'd like to continue going forward, possibly do works that are even larger on water or up in the sky with big cranes and things like that, and keep going. And I like that it's a temporary work, even though it could be permanent. I like that we see it once and you gotta be there and then you let it go. So it's a very interesting piece to do during a very interesting year.
This next piece, entitled It's You, It's Me, It's Us, is by freshman dance student Ellie Ergenzinger. This is our first feature submitted by a student for ArtCast, and we are very excited to share it with you today. Ellie came to ECU in fall of 2020 and expected to start her dance curriculum face-to-face in the studio. After relocating to her hometown only 2 weeks after moving into the dorms, she worked on this collaborative student-led piece, connecting her hometown with her new community of ECU and dance.
Hi, my name is Ellie Ergenzinger, and I choreographed this video dance titled It's You, It's Me, It's Us. While the world seems to be pulling people apart right now, I feel as though artists are seeking community now more than ever. I decided to create this piece after being sent home from college due to the pandemic. Performing and creating movement makes me feel normal, and I wanted to find a way to instill that normalcy in my life, even when everything seemed to be changing around me. I knew that a lot of people were feeling the same way, missing the feeling of movement and performance, and I wanted to give my friends the opportunity to create during this unprecedented time. I learned about the quote, "It's you, it's me, it's us," from an artist that I admire, and these words really resonated with me. It made me think about how community is such an important aspect of getting us through everything that's going on in the world right now. All of our rehearsals were over Zoom, and most of the filming was done individually to align with the CDC guidelines. Although we weren't physically together for most of the process, we were able to work together to create in the midst of so much turmoil. I hope you enjoy.
I died a week ago. There's nothing left. It's caught on video. The very last breath. 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 In time and Lebanon, the cave-in of minds, covering all evidence. The very last time, the very last time, the very last time, the very last time, the very last time. All this fuss over nothing, reinventing the wheel. All this searching for something that's not real. All this fuss over nothing, reinventing the wheel. All this searching for something that's not real. All this fuss over nothing, reinventing the wheel. All this searching for something that's not real. All this fuss over nothing, reinventing the wheel. All this searching for something that's not real.
The next segment features samples of students' work made during the ECU Opera Theatre Role Study Project. Dr. Dan Shirley from the School of Music will tell us more.
Hello, my name is Dr. Daniel Shirley, and I want to thank you for tuning in to ECU Opera Theater's Fall 2020 Role Study Project. Lacking the ability to perform a full production for you this semester, the students of ECU Opera Theater and I turned our attention to techniques for role preparation, with emphasis on developing a character's backstory and exploring how that story is expressed through text and later through music. Each of the 18 students in this semester's opera ensemble chose a role to study, and soon they're going to share a little of their work with you. I'm deeply grateful to each of these students for their dedication, perseverance, and flexibility during this virtual semester. I also want to offer thanks to the Vocal Studies faculty of the ECU School of Music, in particular Professor Eric Stelrecht, who prepared and played all of the accompaniments which you're about to enjoy. And finally, this project would have never been possible without the assistance of Coordinator of Audio Studies, Mr. Alex Davis, and his assistant, Nicholas Mackey. Thank you, gentlemen. And it wouldn't be 2020 if I didn't ask you to like and follow ECU Opera Theater on Facebook and Instagram. We miss performing for you, and we hope to see you back at the theater as soon as we are all able to safely return. Please enjoy.
Hi, my name is Veronica Rice, and the role I've chosen to study this semester is Letitia from The Old Maid and the Thief by Menotti. The entire opera is hilarious, but Letitia in general is such a fun, lighthearted, playful character, and she's sort of the mastermind throughout the entire opera, but she gets away with everything because she's so witty and intelligent, and you would never expect this demure little maid to be kind of mischievous. And she's got big aspirations that you find out. Steal me. Oh, steal me, sweet thief, for time's flight is stealing my youth, and the cares of life steal fleeting time. Steal me, thief, for life is brief and full of theft and strife. And then, with furtive step, death comes and steals time and life. Oh, sweet thief, I pray, make me die before dark death steals her prey.
My name is Kobe Gallman, and this semester I have chosen to study Romeo from Romeo and Juliet by Charles Gounod and Hiawatha from Hiawatha's Wedding Feast by Samuel Coleridge Taylor. I chose to do Romeo because of how dramatic and unpredictable his character can be throughout the opera. Gounod does an excellent job of showing his character throughout the piece by giving us really heartfelt and dramatic arias, such as A la Victoire. And I chose Hiawatha from Hiawatha's Wedding Feast because I think it is so important these days to do works by African American composers.
This next segment features former teaching assistant professor of graphic design in the School of Art and Design, Kayla Clark. Although she has just recently relocated to the University of Wyoming with a new appointment, she will always be part of our ECU creative community. Kayla is a letterpress artist and designer and has participated in a global postcard exchange project, which she talks about as a great testament of our need as creatives to connect with one another through our craft and making processes. It's a wonderful project, and we are thrilled to feature her today.
Being outside of the traditional classroom setting has, of course, presented us with challenges, but also a multitude of opportunities. One of my favorite things about teaching and making work is the beauty and the complexity of experimenting and exploring processes. And I've been really making an effort to continue to incorporate this into my practice despite our barriers. One of my outlets for this has been documenting and producing videos of my letterpress printing process and then uploading those videos to Instagram. It's been useful to me for a couple of reasons, but just a few are that I get to connect with like-minded people, creators and makers who want to learn, who are excited about the processes, and then also, sharing snippets of the work and the steps and the experimentation and really how much goes into making something, which is often overlooked. Most recently, I participated in a global postcard exchange. I'm going to show you a few that I've received in the mail already, but it served as an extraordinary reminder that, despite being socially distanced, despite being geographically separated, that we're all still one big community, that our creativity is not suppressed, and that, just our care for each other as humans persists. So thank you to Kat and Jessica for making ArtCast happen, and I hope you enjoy the videos I've included.
This next project is a collaboration between myself in the graphic design area in the School of Art and Design and colleague Jessica Teague in the dance department from the School of Theater and Dance. As part of our Fall 2020 courses, this project partnered students together across design and dance to interpret, respond to, and visualize the same piece of music, but through different media. Design students created unique motion design videos, while dance students choreographed contemporary live performances. This segment features some of the students' work from this project.
Hey guys, my name is Maya Newman. My Dancing Shapes project is titled Move, and I was partnered with dance student Becca Stone. So before choosing a music selection, we both decided that we wanted to use a very upbeat jazz song, and we wanted both of our compositions to be very eye-catching and fast-paced.
She sent me her storyboards first, and like as you could see, there was a square like tumbling down the stairs, and in each storyboard she had like kind of time codes, so it kind of helped me figure out when to do what in the timing and the music. She said she wanted to start out like her vision was a little bit more rigid, and then it gets flowy, and then back to rigid at the end. So I don't know if that was clear, but that's what we were going for.
Ty Huff here, and my video was called Convergence. When I was talking with Kira and talking about my initial storyboards, we came up with the concept of convergence and divergence. So shapes coming together and separating all in a 30-second period.
Hi, I'm Catherine. So my partners are Savannah and Tiana. Pretty much I came up with my choreography after they sent me their initial storyboards and designs. And they had a lot of round, circular, flowing shapes in their design, so I tried to incorporate that as much as I could in my choreography.
Hi, I'm Tiana. I'm Catherine's partner. I did a motion test, so here it is.
The song has a more upbeat tempo, kind of like an electronic dance music feel. I decided to go with a glowy neon theme, and I used bright colors with glow effects on a black background for high contrast. Madeline and I collabed on this project by picking out the music together and sharing our visions with each other each step of the way from beginning to end.
I think the thing that we've been collaborating on the most as a group is like movement and like quality of movement. So they sent me their storyboards and mood boards, and what I noticed in both of them is they had a lot of like directional like representations, like a bunch of arrows and all this sort of stuff. So like I kind of wanted to follow that. And having two partners was really interesting because one of them had a more like fluid like characteristic to it, and the other one was like a lot more linear. So I wanted to kind of combine those in my product.
Hi guys, my name is Natalie Prey, and this is my Dancing Shapes project titled Balancing Act. I was partnered with Edwin, and our dance partner was Devin Brown. We all picked similar music, which was suspenseful and thrilling and had these synthwave overtones. We decided that we kind of wanted to go with this concept of a descent into madness and a loss of self because of a descent into madness.
Our final piece on today's episode is an excerpt from the radio play Trifles, directed by Assistant Professor of Theatre Brian Conger, with sound design and editing by Assistant Professor Michael Schoaf. The radio series was created during the fall of 2020 to keep students and audiences connected through performance while theaters were closed. Professor Conger will tell you more about the project.
Hi, my name is Brian Conger, and I'm an assistant professor in the School of Theater and Dance. The excerpt you are about to hear is from a radio play series that I directed in the fall. Our department created the series to keep our students engaged with their training and to keep us all connected to our audiences. The series was comprised of 4 plays that were chosen to reflect the diversity and complexities of the American experience. The process of rehearsing and recording took 2 months, with each actor working from their own space. The sound effects were created and recorded live by School of Theater and Dance faculty and staff, and each play was engineered and edited by sound designer Michael Schoaf, also an assistant professor in the School of Theater and Dance. The clip you are about to hear is from Trifles by Susan Glaspell. The play premiered in 1916 and is considered to be a seminal work of the modern American theater. In the play, John Wright has been found dead in bed, strangled with a rope. His wife Minnie has been arrested and put in jail. The authorities, along with their wives, have returned to the scene to investigate. As the mystery unfolds, it is revealed how men and women see things very differently.
And what did Mrs. Wright do when she knew that you had gone for the coroner?
She moved from that chair to this one over here, and just sat there, with her hands together and looking down. I got a feeling I ought to make some conversation, so I said I had come in to see if John wanted to put in a telephone. And at that, she started to laugh. And then she stopped and looked at me, scared. I don't know, maybe it wasn't scared. I wouldn't like to say it was. Soon Harry got back, and then Dr. Lloyd came, and you, Mr. Peters. And so I guess that's all I know that you don't.
I guess we'll go upstairs first, and then out to the barn and around there. You're convinced that there was nothing important here, nothing that would point to any motive.
Nothing here but kitchen things.
Here's a nice mess.
Oh, her fruit, it did freeze. She was worried about that when it got so cold. She said the fire'd go out and the jars would break.
Well, can you beat the woman? Held for murder and worrying about her preserves.
I'd guess before we're through, she may have something more serious than preserves to worry about.
Well, women are used to worrying over trifles.
And yet, for all their worries, what would we do without the ladies? Dirty towels. Not much of a housekeeper, would you say, ladies?
There's a great deal of work to be done on a farm.
To be sure. Yet I know there are some Dixon County farmhouses which do not have such roller towels.
Those towels get dirty awful quick. Men's hands aren't always as clean as they might be.
Ah, loyal to your sex, I see. But you and Mrs. Wright were neighbors. I suppose you were friends, too?
I've not seen much of her of late years. I've not been in this house. It's more than a year.
And why was that? You didn't like her?
I liked her all well enough. Farmers' wives have their hands full, Mr. Henderson. And then...
Yes?
It never seemed a very cheerful place.
No, it's not cheerful. I shouldn't say she had the homemaking instinct.
Well, I don't know as Wright had either.
You mean that they didn't get on very well?
No, I don't mean anything. But I don't think a place would be any cheerfuler for John Wright's being in it.
I'd like to talk more of that a little later. I want to get the lay of things upstairs now.
I suppose anything Mrs. Peters does will be all right. She was taking some clothes for her, you know, and a few little things. We left in such a hurry yesterday.
Yes, but I would like to see what you take, Mrs. Peters, and keep an eye out for anything that might be of use to us.
Yes, Mr. Henderson.
I'd hate to have men coming into my kitchen snooping around and criticizing.
course, it's no more than their duty.
Duty's all right, but I guess that deputy sheriff that came out to make the fire might have got a little this hot. Wish I had thought of that sooner. Seems mean to talk about her for not having things slicked up when she had to come away in such a hurry.
She had bread set.
She was going to put this in there. It's a shame about her fruit. I wonder if it's all gone. I think there's some here that's all right, Mrs. Peters. Yes, here. This is cherries, too. I declare I believe that's the only one. She'll feel awful bad after all her hard work in the hot weather. I remember the afternoon I put my cherries up last summer.
Well, I must get those things from the front room closet. You coming with me, Mrs. Hale? You could help me carry them. It's cold in there.
Wright was close. I think maybe that's why she kept so much to herself. She didn't even belong to the Ladies' Aid. I suppose she felt she couldn't do her part, and then you don't enjoy things when you feel shabby. She used to wear pretty clothes and be lively when she was Minnie Foster, one of the town girls singing in the choir. But that was 30 years ago. This was all you to take in?
She said she wanted an apron. Funny thing to want, as there isn't much to get you dirty in jail, goodness knows. But I suppose to make her feel more natural. She said they was in the top drawer in this cupboard. Yes, here. And the little shawl that always hung behind the door. Oh, yes, here it is.
Mrs. Peters.
Yes, Mrs. Hale?
Do you think she did it?
Oh. I don't know.